Can someone give me a lowest common denominator for this? 10x times x minus 2. I like that. Is everybody else? Can I see show of hands who has 10x x minus 2? Brilliant. No wonder you're the honors class. Okay, so putting those pieces together, this time I'm going to do it the quick way instead of writing it all out. The first piece, when I multiply common factor, I'm going to lose 2x out of it, which means I still have a 5. So it'll be 5 times x minus 2. That's what's left over after I simplify. Then when I do the next term, it'll be the x minus 2 that's left over, and the x minus 2 is gone. It'll be 10x that's left over there. So this time I get, let's see here, 25x minus 50 minus 7x plus 14 equals 30x. And collect up some like terms. That'll be 18x minus 36 equals 30x. And if I bring the 18 to the other side, so I get x equals negative 3 for my answer. Can I just see, did anybody else get that answer? I'm doing so well today. Can you believe it? No coffee or anything. Any problems with negative 3 as an answer?
Nope.
Nope, so we can keep it. That's our solution for this equation. Okay? All right. Let's move past this one here for a second. I know we've got this one, but because we're on a shorter time day today, let's.
One's sort of weird.
What's that?
It's sort of weird. Well, I didn't get it.
This one? Okay. Well, why don't we try it then, just in case. What's the lowest common denominator going to be for this example? Go for it, Karen. Yeah, you can already see it there, right? 6x minus 1. So when we multiply through, that means what I'm going to be left with is 6x minus 1. And that'll be x minus 1 equals to x. And the lowest common denominator, we're using LCD of x minus 1, 6x minus 1. So that gives us 6x squared minus x plus x minus 1. So those will group and disappear, and 6x squared minus x minus 1 equals 0. So hopefully this will factor. I try not to use I try not to give questions with quadratic equation because, I mean, let's face it, that's factoring is the way to go if you can. So here's the method that I use, and that means I'll factor this to minus 3 and plus 2. And remember, this is the part people forget when they use my method. You have to go put that 6 back in there, so you end up with x minus a half, x plus a third, so 2x minus 1 times 3x plus 1. And that gives me some answers of x equals 1/2 and negative 1/3. Any problems with a half or negative a third? What would cause a problem here? What numbers would cause a problem in this equation? Yeah, 1 is a problem. Yeah, and 1/6 would cause a problem there as well. So these are both acceptable. There are the answers. Okay. So let's move on. This is the theme that we're going to look at now is whenever, in our course anyways, if you end up with a quadratic, not just a binomial, but a quadratic denominator, that means you're going to have to do some factoring so that you can look at the pieces of it. So it's kind of like when you look at the numbers, 6 and 8, and you want to find their lowest common denominator. What you should be thinking in your head is you're sort of thinking, what do these people share? We're looking at their factors to try to figure out what's common and what can we overlap on. So they both share a 2, what they don't share here, the missing part, this is the part where we got to try to construct a lowest common denominator. So here, we want to do the same thing. We want to try to construct the factors so that we can see it more plainly against the others. Because if you would have done this and said LCD equals x squared minus 1 times x minus 1 times x plus 1, well, that's going to be an enormously complicated equation, right? Somewhere out of this, there's going to be an x to the 4, and we don't know how to solve the, well, I mean, we might be able to come up with some ways, but we haven't really talked about how to solve those. So that kind of tells you you've missed something or you're not on the right track if that happens to you. Okay, so for this example, this is the LCD that we're going to use. Whoops, LCD. So when I multiply through this time, I get x plus 7. The x plus 1 will stay. X minus 1 will stay. So that's x squared plus 8x plus 7. X squared minus 2x plus 1. So if I collect my like terms, 2x squared plus 6x, that'll be 8 minus 4 will be 4. And hopefully it factors. That's a nice one. Not too bad. This one will factor as 2 times x plus 1, x plus 2. So the possible answers I could look at are -1 and -2. Any problems? -1 is a problem for this spot here. It is also a problem for this one here. So -1, you get rejected. The answer is x equals to -2. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to give you one to work on and see how you do with it. Same idea. Make sure you factor before you look. Okay, so you can take a look here. Maybe you haven't caught up to me, or maybe I'm way behind you, but take a look and see how you did. You got to reject the 3 and keep the value of x equals -2.